All right, what's going on? Check the Game Up podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Stan Shakes Fletcher. I am one of the first 12 guys that ever played SlamBall. Also working for SlamBall as in the competition department. I got my guy Inches. Always, you already know the originator of the sport that's on with us today. He is one of the very first guys that ever touched the SlamBall court. So we got some SlamBall history here. And we got sitting in with us my guy Speedy, Marcus Reed, who actually was my first. That was my teammate first.
He's absolutely right. He was.
Yeah, with the steal. With the steal. That was my
man.
teammate first. And we got him here. I'm happy that he's here right now with us, man, because he's got an awesome story to tell from, his side of the story with SlamBall, from playing the game to transitioning to reffing the game. So and we just came off SlamBall Series 6, and we got a lot of things to ask him. So I'll start off with Inches. Inches, what's up?
Hey, man, what's going on, everybody, man? Grand Rising, man. Thank you for having me on your show, man. What's happening, Speedy?
What's up, my guy?
Double pump dunk.
There it is.
Napping turtle.
Yeah, what's happening, everybody, man? I just want to say thank you for having me on your show, man. What's happening, Shakes, man? It's a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, congratulations on the success with the new Rising of SlamBall, man, out there in Cox Pavilion. If you guys don't know, it was in Las Vegas, Nevada. Cox Pavilion, it was outstanding. Shout out to my man Steve, VP, owner of Circa, thank you for all the major good support, and thanks for ESPN, it was phenomenal.
Yes. And so we got Marcus here. So first thing I want to know is, tell me some of your best moments playing, because we just was just with all those young dudes, and they probably just didn't watch the videos or the highlights. So they didn't go research and find out who was what. So they see you walking around with a referee shirt, and they don't know that you really put in work out there. So
oh man,
start off with your like favorite moment in SlamBall.
Well, let's just go way back. So SlamBall, I was a developmental player. People don't really understand. I tried out, and maybe they thought I was pretty good or could make it or not. But anyway, I literally was there the whole day practicing with like 3 or 4 different teams. And so I finally got to go to get on the team. Obviously, to get with Shakes, it was just a blessing, because I'm like, wow, there's no way we can lose. You got to play with the best, or one of the best, to start the sport. And it was just amazing to be on his team. Now, the history is that, don't get me wrong, I love the team, but the chemistry who we had with the handler we had, which was Michael Goldman, was great. But for me, I can't sit on nobody's bench. So I needed to play. So, but that team right there, the best chemistry ever, from Stan to Snoop, which everybody knows, Snoop Jones is just such a good guy. Like, I never had a problem with anybody on the team.
And so Snoop went on to coach Division I basketball.
Division I basketball. He played overseas. He's actually real big with the NBA now. He was with the Cavs. But the look on his face when I was like, I'm going to get traded, was just, I felt so bad, but I just wanted to play the sport. I didn't know how long it was going to last or anything was going to happen, but I needed to play. I felt like I worked really hard. It didn't matter. I needed to get out there. Moving forward, I'm an official, so I've always done basketball. I love basketball. I love sports. And I always said to Mason Gordon, appreciate him as well, is like, I don't know how long I'll be able to play the sport, how long it will last. I am one of the older guys, but to referee or officiate, I'm that guy. If you ever need somebody, I'm the guy you probably want to call.
Right. And for me and Inches, we always seen you as one of those type of guys that saw the next step.
Yes.
Some guys get complacent or get that tunnel vision. And as we growing, we getting older too.
Right.
We started this thing in 1999.
Right.
So by the time it came to the first series in China, which was our Series 4, I don't think nobody's seen no footage from Series 4, but that was our first series in China. That was when your transition came. And by that time, I know for me, I was either 28 or I was 28, 29, something like that. What year was that?
Yeah. And I think I was we was in China at the China time. When I was 33.
Yeah.
So I was around
33.
28.
Yeah.
28,
so you would have to be,
yeah. you know, so we was getting up there in age.
Right.
It was, you know, the clock was ticking, you know, so, and I think for us, we had our foot in it so much that we had to finish out the playing part, but we didn't have those officials.
Right.
And for you to step in the way you did and do that, even though you could still get out there right now and put in work.
Well, I don't know about that, but I will say this: to officiate, to deal with the competitors of how we are. And at one point, I'm in China and I'm out there by myself until there were games I had to officiate by myself, but people don't understand how hard that is anyway, because you can't see everything at this level. And then I had an official that ended up being a player. So to try to train somebody in the amount of time we had was it was so difficult, and people just don't realize it. So for me to get the call, obviously, was amazing. For Mason to just ask me, and to go to China twice was so much of a blessing, because I got to see it develop as well. And like you said, a lot of people, they don't know China. They don't know Shakes was out there. And basically you had to Google, YouTube. I mean, social media is so big. So if you didn't go on YouTube and didn't see it, you just really didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know from school to school what he was doing if you weren't keeping up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so for me, like I said, it was a blessing. And for it to come back, I was doing it no matter what. I never felt that everybody's different. So obviously being older, I never felt like if it came back, I wanted to play. Because like now officiating, I felt like I'm good enough, and you need good officials in a good sport. And just to be a part of it was great. Obviously, who doesn't want to go out there and dunk on somebody and they get the chance to pay you back, or vice versa. But so to officiate was that's my thing. And this sport, like I said, from a long time ago, we were at Universal City Walk, Samson Brew, another official, I knew him, and he was just like, wow, if it comes back, you know, call me. And I said, well, I have no idea. And we're already older. And here we are. I'm like, okay, 20 years later, it's like, wow, it's amazing to get the call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be a part of this.
Yeah. So, for us, we wanted somebody that's knowledgeable in the game in order to understand how to officiate it.
Right.
So that's the key for us growing the sport, you know, from a technical side.
Right.
Because without guys that understand SlamBall, you can't just step in it and referee SlamBall. It's a very difficult sport to referee because of how much action is going on all at one time. You got to know what to look at, you know, which action to be, you know, paying attention to. And
that's what made it so hard. I was trying to explain to people that seeing the referees when I'm going back watching film, you know, from Rob sending me my games, is like, I didn't know any of those officials. So I'm like, where were they when we were, you know, practicing and everything? We never saw them. All of a sudden, here we are, City Walk, and you're like, they don't know us from a can of paint. So you can't say anything because they really just didn't understand. So as watching film every day in Vegas, you're looking at all the rules and the things we could do. And it was like, sometimes you could do this, sometimes you couldn't. There was really no consistency as far as us playing hard in the hitting aspect.
Right.
So we really just didn't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's so funny when you're out there, just like you as a creator, Inches, you guys are one of the originals, you're going to be making the calls and they don't even know what the hell. And you're right. It's like, and I would say, like, you probably want to listen to, you know, Whitney or Shakes or Stan when they say something, kind of like a LeBron or a Chris Paul. Like, they don't really say much, but when they do, they probably know what they're talking about. And these referees just don't understand.
Right, right.
And you can't really get mad because they don't understand.
Well, we tried to make that adjustment in Series 6, and I think we did a little bit better.
Yeah, it was a lot better, yeah.
As we grew, right? So, but let's just stay on the point of you playing first. All right. And the thing I wanted to talk about, because now we got guys like, you know, Tony Crosby, Darius Clark,
right?
You know, who are track and field guys.
Right.
You were the first wave,
right,
of the track and field guys, along with my boy C. Young.
Of course, yeah.
You know, with Ghetto
Bird, guys,
Chris Young, yeah. So can you give us a little bit of your mindset of how that works? Like, how does that translate to the SlamBall world?
You know, SlamBall, I always felt like you had to be quick, fast and quick. I mean, everybody wants to jump in there, but I felt like it was if you could go quick, if you were fast, that was my advantage. Because being a sprinter, you know, I felt like I got an advantage from everybody, you know, just being quick. Obviously being 5'9", most sprinters are short. Like you say, well, it's Tony Crosby. He's just being a short guy, you kind of have an advantage because you could just go quick. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of hard to hit. And, you know, so for me, it was an easy, really adjustment, because I'm like, if you're fast, can't really get hit because guys are just trying to
Right.
take your head off.
Right.
But to be quick and be a fast agility and me doing long jump as well, it just made it easy for me, or easier. You know what I mean? I knew that, for example, me coming up with the dunk, and it wasn't my idea. It just felt like I got to do something, you know what I mean, to be exciting for the sport. Next thing I know, they're calling it the snapping turtle, and they're saying my name from UCLA.
Chance for his first points of the game. Powers it home with his signature, the snapping turtle. His nickname Speedy, the Pac-10 champion in the 100 and 200 when he ran track at UCLA. Reed, very explosive.
But for me, it's just a blessing to transfer from track and to do SlamBall. So
yeah, I always call you Speedy.
Of course, I mean, yeah. Hey,
It's just, what do you think what is the way track and field athletes bring that type of skill set into SlamBall? Like, how do you see that transitioning?
Well, for us with that transition, as far as quickness and speed, because you got guys out there that can dribble, that can penetrate, but that speed, it makes with that track and field is it makes a whole lot difference on the floor, because you can use that far as passing the person, because that speed always got to be there when you being the handler. That should be the number one thing for us with a handler, is you have to have that speed mentality, because if you ain't got that speed mentality, it's going to be a problem for you to get past a defender at the top constantly. You know what I'm saying? And also an endurance of especially when you get the quick step, and that was the greatest thing of Tony that he had over everyone else, because he just goes quick. Even the face off, his face off, man, his face off was like Speedy Gonzalez, man. He just go, and you just like, wait a minute, how you just take off so fast? Because he has that background in the track field. Same as other players. Even Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? Keyshawn, Cam Hollison. You know what I'm saying? You got other
Cam
guys
Hollison.
also that also has that track field. And Darius Clark. So always that speed, is a way main part of it. Because even with me, when I used to play college, people didn't know I was in track and field. Yeah, I was in track and field. I used to do the hurdles. I used to do the 40-yard dash. But
I did high jump.
All come from speed endurance. So it is a big key factor. By being in track and field.
Yeah, I think so too, man. And this is a tip for like the SlamBall guys too, like just because what I told them. And since we're talking about speed, I used to teach that when you're attacking the stopper, it's like being a pitcher. Like the stopper is a batter. Right. You're the pitcher. I gotta have my curveball. I gotta have my fastball. I gotta have my knuckleball. Right. I gotta have my screwball. I gotta have a few different change-ups. In order to get him off timing. And now I'm reading what each one of those does to this stopper. Right. Yeah. So now I know how to play him. Oh, when I threw this change up right here at him, he didn't react. I got him on the first one. Now I'm gonna change up and then I'm gonna pump fake the change up and then hit him with a quick. Because now he's gonna be ready for the change up, but then I'm gonna switch it on him. Right. Then I'm gonna switch it on him and then fake again, maybe stop, pause. I got to pass then. I'm gonna keep them off balance and not let them catch my timing or my speed. So I think with track and field, the speed element to it and learning how to have that explosiveness, at the drop of a dime is what really gets you that height of it. Because you used to get up out there too. I mean, Inches used to get up too. Like y'all used to get up, but I know that speed that you know how to take into the springs can get you up there. Right. So championship. You got a championship.
Got a championship with the Riders. That was a roller coaster. That was great. We had a ex-NBA coach, Xavier McDaniel. We had obviously Champion to be in our team as well. I would say one of the reasons why we won was because we did 4-on-4 every single day, and I don't know what it was. We just competed, and every practice was like a game. It was just 4-on-4, 4-on-4. We just went at each other, and that's just how it was. We were so competitive that it was just that's all it was. We just went like it didn't matter. From Calvin to getting Ian, it was like we just had to go. 4-on-4, just go. And that's what it was. I mean, he already had the background of Xavier Young being a knucklehead, tough coach. He had our back. I mean, one time we almost had a fight out there. If people remember it, Cheap Hit. I don't remember. I think it was. Remember that? Remember that?
Do you remember that?
Remember that hit? We almost had a fight out there.
You remember that cheap hit in the back?
They intend to take this game within just 2:20 left to go. Willis, he's flying.
Here we go. Both teams clearing out. Here we go, right here.
Hey, Trevor Anderson was protecting his teammate after Willis laid out Jackson.
Stop. All right? That's stupid.
With a hard hit.
Seemed after the play, though.
Great job, though, by the officials and the coaches to make sure that fists did not start flying. Now, Trevor Anderson saw his team leader, Sean Jackson, get laid out, and he went to protect him as he laid a hit on Willis. Let's watch it here. Here's Willis.
Cheap shot.
Look at Anderson.
Talk about having your boys back. I mean,
What? Cheap shot.
Now, this has been a hard-fought game, and look, Xavier McDaniel right in the middle of the fray with the pushing and shoving, and the X-Man makes sure that no punches are thrown. Trevor
from
Anderson
Champ,
has been rejected. That's a big loss.
It was
We gotta
one of
get
those-
Champ on here.
Sean Jackson has done a nice
It was a
job.
sucker. It was a sucker hit.
And
You know what I'm saying? It was all
battling with
It didn't have to escalate like that because of what Trevor did. Now, for what Trevor did, there's no reason for y'all to try to jump him. It's not his fault for what Champ
Yeah,
did.
he just
You know,
protecting
I'm
you,
just
right?
being real. I could have been the person. See, I could have been a dirty one. I could have jumped up because all you guys had y'all back towards me. Every last one of you guys had y'all back towards me. I could have just stuck two of you guys from behind if it was been that dirty. But it was honestly, the fight really got escalated to be overdid it, but it was entertainment, and that's what we wanted.
Right.
That's what we wanted. You know what I mean?
No, that was real. That was
It
real.
was real. It was real.
Yeah.
It was
Real guys
real
were going.
because it was
Real
real
about
because
that.
it was
It's so
it was
real.
about to be punches drawn. But was punches gonna really be drawn?
Maybe.
Nah,
No.
not from what I've seen this last Series 6 because TA and James still mad at each
They don't
other,
like each other.
and
They
they
don't
still
like
didn't throw no blows.
Right.
So yeah, it wasn't gonna be no punches, but it was entertaining.
Right.
Like I said, how it was going to be, and how it always will going to be, and how we started when the first six, how we all started, and then when we brought Champ, when we brought Shakes and Dion and Rob Wilson, what we was gonna make it as? Like wrestling.
Yeah, at the very beginning. This is a big
This is the
part
very
of
beginning. So when we make it, because you can almost see a fight about to occur, but that's what it is. That's what it's all about. We're gonna have that. You know what I'm saying? When you want to knock someone on the ass against a fiberglass like hockey, nigga, what's hockey doing? Nigga, hockey actually fighting. Nigga, they take it off of it, and it's legal until someone starts sleeping. When someone starts sleeping, okay, it fight's over with. But until
then
then,
they just drag them off the ice and let them go to the
man,
box.
thank you. But
We should have that.
yeah, Marcus. But
they don't want to see a bunch
They
of
don't
black
want that,
people,
yeah, that's
a bunch of black people socking each other in the face,
Yeah,
man.
that's
That ain't gonna be good. That ain't gonna be
good.
good.
But yeah, Marcus. But that was the one that was the one actual seriously rumble that was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? What that was. Yeah. I got sucker hit. You know what I'm saying? It was all good. I guess it was a routine. You know what I'm saying? Stop the best. It's all good. But hey, we prevailed at the end though.
So y'all won that
at
game?
the end. Okay, yeah. Me
Won
get
that
sucker hit, me get sucker hit, then me hitting two big suckers.
Bird's out of the game.
What?
Wow.
He got launched like a boomerang. Look at the 180 he does.
Oh, that is Jackson tossing aside a 260-pound man.
Jackson only had 5'11", what is it?
They
170.
Say, yeah, I don't think it's 170 either.
That's with work boots on and 2 jogging suits. That's amazing.
How about that?
But yeah, no, that was
George
a good.
Bird.
That was a good season, man.
Football.
Good season.
I still can't remember how to say football name, his last name the right way.
Louis.
Adam Louis. Yeah, Adam Louis. There we go.
Louis.
Yeah. I want to let everybody know his name. So winning a championship with the Riders, what is that? What is that like? What I mean, you got Bryce over there. You know, I used to call him King of the White Boys because he just absolutely.
Yeah, we had Calvin Patterson. We had Calvin.
Champ,
Calvin Patterson, Ian Daniels.
Ian Daniels, James Willis, Champ. We just, man, his experience from coming from another team, Champ, everything just came together, man. Like I said, for me, it was such a great feeling because, man, like I said, people being a developmental player, I just didn't know I was going to make it. You know what I mean? I felt like I was good enough being an all-around athlete, but I just didn't know I was going to make it. And to end up, like I said, on the steel first, still got my jersey, still got my picture. It's funny. I had hair actually, I think, maybe. I don't know. But I still have that picture. And then remembering to just to be a part of it. People just don't understand. Like, that's one of the biggest moments of my life, to be a part of a new sport and to get a championship with anything. I mean, we all play sports, get different kind of things, but this is just like, I'll never forget. Like, it's so crazy because when you if you Google Marcus Reed, it'll be Marcus Reed, and Google Marcus Reed SlamBall, and it'll show me, I think, like 2 face-offs. It's the coolest thing ever, you know. And it's just like people don't understand. Like, when you go to your phone and you go to memes and you go to SlamBall, obviously there's none of me, right? But I don't care. The fact that you could send someone a meme of different players of probably you inches and send that to somebody doing a dunk is the craziest thing ever. Like, I was so excited when I got on the plane to see that you could watch a SlamBall game. I'm like, huh? You know how exciting that is to be like going to and just like the whole time just sitting there watching SlamBall. Like I'm still to this day, like it's crazy. Like it still hasn't ended because people see and I'm representing. I'm wearing my shirt. I'm wearing my hoodies. You know, I wish I could have bought more stuff, but people are like so excited. They see you and understand. You'd be surprised as you even now. I mean, playing in the league still are like SlamBall, right? Wow. And everybody thought it didn't come back because they thought guys were just getting hurt. Oh, I thought it didn't come back. Guy broke his ankle or it was just too dangerous. I said, no, it's not like that. But I mean, I'm still like, just, man, it's a blessing. You know what I mean? We all have blessings. And like I said, even refereeing, Mason was saying to me, hey, man, I feel like you could still get out there and go. No, I'm right where I need to be. It would be great and be fun, but no. The refereeing.
We love you, Speedy. We love you, Speedy.
I'm not trying to no more snapping turtles, nothing. I mean, like I said, as much as I wanted to out there to even try it, I'm like, no. And I really wanted to. Let me get out there a couple times. It never was going to happen. But I felt great when a loose ball or something happened, and I could run out there and, get the ball, and people are going to be like, you better get off of there. You might get hurt. I'm like, no, I'm good. But no one else wanted to do that. They were too afraid to go out there
to try to
and to retrieve a loose ball as official.
Reed, look
but
at
it's
Jackson.
just, man, because that's how much I missed it.
33-year-old veteran.
So it was a blessing, man. Like I said,
Let's take a look at
I'm still excited, man, to this day. Like, it's like, I can't wait for it to come back, just to see how much better it'll be and how to elevate, because every time we come back, it's that much better.
God, you got to just imagine what the waiting list.
Man, so still those basics, right?
Man, it's gonna be probably more than 1,000 or so,
I wish I could have been there for that. I really wish I could have been there for that. Like, just seeing the tryouts, it would have just what we went through at the different. I was doing officiating an adult league, and I remember I think I was at North Hollywood, North Weddington. I think it was North Weddington. I remember the tryouts there. I was watching the tryouts and just being a different.
That was at North
Weddington
in North Hollywood.
Yeah, the 170 freeway. Was that church? Was it that church school?
No, that recreational center.
The recreational
center.
Yeah.
Okay.
That brought back memories. Just me and being there the other night. It was like, wow, this is. So I would love to just be a part, just to see that, just to see the people, just the hype, just the line, the people just trying to be like, just to wait and listen, just to be a part of this. You know, I mean, it's
Well,
something special.
You did play with Champ Willis, which we got to a little bit, but Champ was also a coach for SlamBall Series 6. So what do you think I mean, for me, I got to play against him. So I'll speak about playing against him, which we all have played against him also. But
Right.
Yeah.
for me, every time I used to play against Champ, I knew he was going to do something sneaky.
Right.
I knew it was going to be some sneaky bucket, some sneaky dunk, some backdoor sneaky. It was going to be hang in the air and then hit you with a jump shot. You know, it was going to be something, but he was going to put up a lot of points, and he was going to have a huge impact on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he was going extremely fast, no, I couldn't say that. Was he going slow? No. Was he like the most athletic and just super? But everything he did was smarter.
Yeah, like a chess player.
Was calculated.
Yeah, it was really,
and it had a purpose. And then he's gonna talk trash to you the whole game.
Yeah,
you like, man, but man, shut up. I'm about to dunk on you. Jump shot. Jesus set you up. You know, that's the type of player that Champ was. And now to see him coaching, I want to see how did he do with you reffing while he's coaching. What did you think about his performance then in Series 6?
Champ was a competitor. I mean, like, I always feel like, you know, you when we're still friends, but when I'm reffing. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants a call or wants this and that. So it's always kind of yelling at me, he was on my head. I mean, it's so hard when you got to officiate your friends, because at the same time you want to be a perfectionist and you want to get it right. So it was tough with him. I mean, he always was on me, and then we'd always talk afterwards. Like, he would yell at me and always the same as you. Oh man, I didn't mean anything by it. But I mean, he's just a really smart player. Fortunately, he had a couple guys get hurt here and there, but it was definitely a challenge with him. I mean, as well as you, it was tough. I mean, being a teammate, and then here we are, and he's coaching and yelling at me and wanting this call, and hey, he's doing this and that. But for the most part, he was pretty good. Like I said, we always talked afterwards. But he was good, man. Like I said, he's a really smart person. I mean, I was so happy that we had former great players come and coach the game, because they could teach. It's easier to teach. You know what I mean? Instead of having someone else that just didn't play and just watched it. So definitely was great, man. I mean, like I said, he gave me a hard time, but in a good way, if that makes sense. I mean,
what was the worst thing he said to you while you was reffing?
I don't know if there's a worse thing. I mean,
because I remember something I probably went off on you one time, maybe twice or three times, because we know each other.
I mean, it's always you're probably worse than what he was. Definitely, Stan was definitely worse than what he was. I mean, he would say one thing and it was just a look, but you were always like, well, F it then. We're just going to do whatever. There's just no rules then. We're just going to go ahead and do whatever. Forget it. Like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? Like with him, it's like, oh, man. And here's a guy who knows you couldn't do anything with him. Once he jumped in there, it's like, oh, shoot, man, what am I going to do? Well, I don't know what to say to him. Like, there was no answer to what you would say to me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we can just foul? Or we can just do whatever then. There's just no – I was like, oh, man. I kind of look at Rob like, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't even have to do anything. So with you, it was tough. But, I mean, I know that you're just competitive. It's like you don't like to lose. Either do I. But when I'm reffing, I don't like to get calls wrong. Mm-hmm. So that just made it harder for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, it's such a fast. There's so many things going on. And with this sport, it's just like the coaches are probably right for the most part, because it's just you're sitting there and there's all these things happening. So, like I said, with you, it was tough. You know what I mean? You'd say a lot, but.
You know, but I knew it was hard too, and I was just, to be honest, I was trying to gain an advantage.
Of course,
any type of way I can, because if I can get one ref on my side, that's how I like it. If I can get one extra call, that's one good possession that I needed. You know, and that was it. And it's all just a game. You know, it's all just a game.
And I always tell people that.
Right, and right after the game, you know, I say, my best, Speedy. I was just playing. I was just playing.
You
know, I was just trying to get an advantage. I think all the coaches were at some point, you know, because I watch Coach Kurtz. If you drop the ball on Coach Kurtz, he's gonna make you pay for it. You know, and he's very smart out there.
He was a tough
How is he when you're out there?
He was probably, I would say, the worst, but in a good way. I mean, obviously, I'm only 5'9", but I think I'm taller than him. So there was no, like, he didn't put any fear in me, but he he wanted everything. He just wanted every single thing. And at some point, it's just like, bro, you're wrong sometimes. I mean, obviously, he's a perfectionist. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, he was just great, but it's just like, really? At one point, you wanted to tee him up. And I always be like, and I'm not that kind of person, but hey, man, that's it. Next time, you're done. Whatever. Come on. And he always say my name. Come on, Marcus. Come on, Mark. I mean, I can hear him like in my sleep just with this guy. But I'm like, it's like, yeah. And then and before the game, same thing as well.
Come on, Marcus. Clean it up here. Clean it up, Marcus. Clean it up, Marcus.
He's on me tough. But I mean, like I said, it worked. There was no advantage for him doing it, but he just
working the game.
He just working the game like as he should.
Yeah, as he should.
Whether it was Noah coming over to me saying, "Hey, Marcus, can you watch this?" You know, whisper into your ear, "Hey," it's like same thing. Remix, same thing. Hey,
yeah.
You know, pull up act like he's doing something with the video. I said, watch the replay. Look at it. You got it. I said, well, look at it. I wasn't even looking at it. You're not gonna look at the replay. I said, look at it again, see if I'm right. I'm like, oh shoot. So, like I said, it was fun, man, just to have guys yelling at you. Were your teammates? Because Myrie was my teammate.
Myrie was your teammate
so
on
like,
the hombres.
And he's not even that kind of person.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like he never got mad. I don't think. Is that his demeanor? I don't know. And he was my teammate, right? On the hombres. And he just was a young star. I loved watching, just throw the ball to him. I mean, we had him and JT. Myrie could just, still this day, still jumping out the gym. You know, just you two guys are still jumping out the gym. So to have him as assistant, he just would come over and kind of be like, go to the laptop, go like, hey man, I'm just over here. I was like, what you got? And he just, you know, he was kind of quiet, never got mad, you know, as far as Josh.
That's I was gonna ask about Josh.
Josh was hot. I almost had to run Josh over. Josh was coming on the court all the time. Josh was upset a lot of times. I mean, he had a number one player as well. He just injuries with him kind of hurt him a little bit, but he wanted everything too. I think Josh is another coach player that would have been a great official as well. Because he actually, during a scrimmage, he got to officiate with me once or twice. I'm like, wow, he's one of those guys too that was a really sneaky, fast, quick player that knew the rules. So he knew them too. So a few times he yelled, and I was like, dang, he's right. I can't go back in time.
Josh was one of those players that you loved him so much, but during the game, he'd get under your skin.
Oh, he was. Oh, yeah.
But you couldn't find a way to really like. He won't stop.
Yeah, he threw the clipboard, slammed the clipboard. I was like, Josh, well, give me a T then. I was like, you can't. It's out of reach. But he just wanted. He wanted technical. He wanted a lot. I mean, there were a couple of times where he was just like, the next game before he started, like, hey, who did I yell at? Because no, I looked at film and I want to go to apologize. I said, we're good. Who is it? And he rolled and like, I just want to say, and we're like, it is what it is. Yeah. Every game we're gonna get yelled at for something. It's just competitive. You want to work the refs. You want to win. You know what I mean? So you can't get mad. I always tell people, if you don't get mad, you're in life now. You're really pretty much disappointed. If you get mad and you want to fight, do something stupid, right? So we don't get mad. We're competitors. So with him, it was tough too. Yeah. He was on you. He was slamming clipboards, throwing stuff. That's just Josh because he was a competitor too, right? And wanted to win.
You know what I'm interested in? Did Rodney Bond ever say something to you during the game?
Never.
He didn't say nothing. Huh?
You know, Rodney, as people know, one of the big, bodybuilder, ex-player, stopper, orange wave cap, one of the nicest guys, strongest guys. He actually spoke more to me here than he did ever, except for when we were in China and we went to the Great Wall. I was like, this guy talk?
Rodney, I get on the phone and I talk with Rodney and we always texting each other and all that. But I know during the season
he just doesn't say a lot.
When he was coaching, when he's one-on-one with somebody, I could see him talking to him. But outside of that, I didn't really see him talking. So I wonder if he ever show any type of emotion. I know if he pissed off, he'd just be like,
he's just a laid back guy,
and that's it.
I would go and say stuff to him, and he'd just be like,
Rodney be like, you know what, man?
And the Hulk,
That nigga start boking his chest up. All right, okay, Rodney, we get it.
We don't say nothing to him either, so he just used to not saying nothing.
Yeah, you probably want to get him mad.
Because people don't get him mad. Yeah, people don't. They won't watch what they say to him. He that big. What was Jelani like?
Jelani was more so. after the game or, you know, before the game.
He's turning and they're watching. This is not the Cosby Show. Stay in front of your guy. Bump him, bump him, bump him.
He just kind of knew what he had. I mean, he always felt like he there's nothing to say. I mean, he would say one or two things. I mean, and it's crazy because one of the best handlers, the strongest handlers, hitters, he just didn't say it. Yeah, best players too as well. He just didn't say a lot. I mean, he'll always be afterwards. He'd come talk to me afterwards and say, this is what he felt like. He sat in on a couple of our sessions and felt like they weren't getting certain calls and certain things were happening. So we had to go over film with him. He didn't really yell or anything.
He did that to y'all. He
was before the game and put us through like us talking now.
He was like,
do it. You got to play right there.
But when we get back, we go watch the film.
He was on me.
Okay,
We had talks before the game. It was like, you wonder what me and him were behind the stage talking about. He was over there drilling me like, I feel like we're not getting the calls and this rep's against me and this call. And I mean, you know, he wanted to win. We all want something. And obviously he felt like he could talk to me because I did play and everybody else, they made it more. No, you're wrong. And it was kind of like, I don't know. Everything is how you talk to a person. Everything. So I felt like it was made it tough. You know, right? Me being an ex-player, obviously, you could come to me. Obviously, it was harder with some of the guys. They were kind of like scared to a certain extent. You know, and then they realized later on, as we start kind of getting it, that it was kind of like, okay, we understand because with rule changes and injuries and what we're looking for and how much time we had, just made it tough.
Right.
You know, a new season and we're elevated. We've elevated that much, you know, so it was good.
I would ask, what would you think the differences of refereeing basketball and slam ball? Because you started off refereeing basketball, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. How many years you been refereeing basketball?
26. 26 plus years. Well, 20,
right.
I'll just say 26.
So this is good because I wanted everyone to know that, you know, sometimes people look at slam ball and feel like even for the players that they never played basketball, they never played this, they just came into slam ball. I think some of those guys think I grew up just playing slam ball only.
Right.
They never played basketball or anything. That's what they think, you know. And then for the refs, they probably think that the refs only refed slam ball before. You know what I'm saying? Never refed anything else before. So you with 26 years of experience with reffing basketball, what is that transition like? What are the differences of reffing slam ball and reffing basketball?
The mechanics, because in basketball, obviously, you know, jump balls and some of the contact plays, like illegal contact. So you would say you have the same kind of fouls, but the mechanics are different. So when you go from illegal contact to just the violations, like everything is kind of different. Like jump balls were different. So in jump balls, everybody knows basketball.
You drawing?
We good, fam?
You sketching
me? I'm in court. You sketching me?
What you drawing?
This one drawing.
You the slam ball court? Now lift it up.
Oh,
okay.
You missing the screen?
Yeah.
But we heard you extra sketching over there. What talking? It sounded like he was scratching.
Yeah, he was DJing.
Oh no! I'm over there, making a new court.
All right, hit that mute button on the because we could hear that.
Okay.
But no, just the mechanics wise, I mean, obviously, for example, jump ball for basketball, everybody knows is more like 2 thumbs up, where it was different. So to adjust the mechanics were a lot for me. I mean, I'm a perfectionist and being patient, but the mechanics, they're just different. I mean, you don't have drift right? You don't have a drift in basketball. You don't have a popcorn. You don't have a bounce violation. So it was still an adjustment. But for me, it was just, I just had to really study a lot. It was like retraining myself. Obviously, being up for the challenge and being on TV and managing, using my voice, that part was easy. But people understand the mechanics are everything. So people can really understand what you're doing. Like, what's the call? What did he call? Everybody just knew like face off, right? Go dunk. Oh, he gets fouled. He's go dunk on him. Because we had 3 or 4, where now each team only got 1. So the mechanics were different, except for a traveling call. The only thing that pretty much was the same was a travel call, right?
Travel, right.
Here's another really quick.
I mean, shot clock was the same.
Shot clock was the same as well. You didn't really have that a few times, but only shot clock and basically the travel calls. Everything else was different, right?
Right.
You didn't really have carry. Obviously, you got hit. You could still kind of was almost like it could still travel. But the drifting and the bounce violation and the obviously 3 seconds, but it's still different. So it's still an adjustment. Like when you looked at the mechanics, you're like, wow, this is totally different. Like everything, 90% of it wasn't the same. So for me, it was still hard. And people don't get that. Basketball is not slam ball, right? For us, and people always look at, say, growing up 80s, 70s playing basketball, how people say it was really more physical. Not necessarily. There was no social media. But for us, we didn't know any better but to try to knock each other's heads off, right? Because we were still adjusting, right? We all try to hurt each other, so we prepared for it, right? So I felt like we didn't have the injuries like that, right? Because it was like, okay, Shakes is going to try to take me out. I got to try to get him out too. Instant going to try to hit me. I'm trying to hit him. So that's just the way it was. But the adjustment of the mechanics was definitely different. It wasn't as easy as what people thought it would be, because I had people text me, hey, man, how do I get in that reffing? Oh, you ref slam ball? I said, I think I could learn it. Only thing people saw looking, outside in, inside out was like, is that a foul? Or they didn't blow their whistle or what happened there? I mean, even Marshawn running out there a couple of times, he didn't understand some of the hits. A guy has an advantage, disadvantage, if he can make it to the sprint, like he can't hit him. He's running out there upset. And I believe me, as much as I want to let that hit go, you just can't. You still got to protect players. So the adjustments was definitely a challenge.
Okay. And that makes a lot of sense. So we speaking about adjustments, that leads me to think about all the rule changes from training camp. And training camp started, we had rules. Right. We came into the thing with rules.
Yes.
Okay.
We kept changing rules in between, right?
Yes.
We got to the regular season. We said, okay, so now we got what we got. And then it was changing rules all through the season and to this day. We're still changing rules right now. Right. So how was that adjusting to all the changes while we're playing? Like, that's crazy.
That was tough as well, because one game you get it right and the next game we changed it. So it made it tough. I mean, there were things that you taught that players could do that other players couldn't do. Whether just like when we first started, you could run on the island, right? You could run back and forth. So now you couldn't run, right? You could take one pivot so you can't travel. So we changed it, right? You 2 on the island, obviously offensive wise. And then all of a sudden a defensive guy could be it made it difficult, but it made it better. You know what I mean? It made it better for TV and made it better for, I think, some of the fans to understand. As coaches, it made it difficult because we're like, wow, I just taught my players how to do this, and all of a sudden we can't do this anymore. Because think about this. Yeah. The reset, right, was always a rule. You had to throw it off the glass, right? If you look at the other seasons, it happens sometimes and sometimes because the sport is so fast, right? Before you could jump out the top, you could jump out, right? But now when you jump out the top, you had to throw it back to the stopper or throw it off the glass, which made it difficult. It made it hard, right? Or when you jumped, you had to either shoot it or transfer to another, what you two were great at, transfer to another. It was definitely hard.
Yeah, it's a skill game.
It's a really, like in anything, just like basketball and any tennis, whatever. If you're smart, you can last a long time.
Right. So
this is definitely, it's the thinking game as well. People understand you can't just be, he's just big and strong. If you're smart, you could be great at this.
Yeah, I tell players all the time, you have 3 plays ahead. You got to think 3
study
plays
it,
ahead.
watch film,
and if you're really good for each one of those plays of the 3 that you think of, you need to have a plan A and a plan B.
Right.
Plan A, plan B, plan A, plan B. Yeah. And if you can do that at a high level, there's no way you can be stopped in that game, because now the odds are you're going to be at a place that they're not going to be in because you plotted that out. You saw the route before them.
And I think if players study the game, as well as I was watching film before, as well as after every game, watching everything, you're always a step ahead, because that's what I think the whole advantage of watching film makes it that much better, can make you that much better playing the game. Because like I said, if I wasn't watching that, it made it more difficult. I had to watch every game. After every game, I sat there and watched it. To this day now, we have the scoreboard app. I'm still watching the games just to try to see what looked better, You know, what can we do better? What made it better? What, you know, the same way what you see, pick your mind, you're picking mine as a player official, as a guy who could do everything. Same way with you. You guys were above the rim all the time. You know, I was just every once in a while if I got the chance and the opportunity.
Now, what was the situation with the 3-second count rule in the island?
Well, it's just
Because
like
go ahead.
well, just like in basketball, violations are advantage, disadvantage. You know, like with us running back and forth. No one's going to stop you if you could just jump on there and run back and forth, run back and forth. So it's almost like once you get there, 1,002, make a play, pass the ball, jump off to a, you know, transfer to a tramp and take a shot. You know, we didn't have it a lot, but at first it's just like guys were thinking too much. Started thinking, you practice every day, right? Game time, you don't know it already, then what are you doing out there? So we had a lot of guys that were just like, okay, we got to just get off of there. You know, so it's just an advantage thing. The 3 seconds, once we got it, we got it. You know, a lot of guys just were thinking too much. And don't let me make it seem like a lot of guys are doing it. Most of the time when something happens in a situation, it's usually 1 or 2 guys are doing it all the time. And once you tell them they got it, it wasn't like every team, it was someone's 3 seconds. It just happens. And I think it only happened when it happened because of the rules did change. You know, and it's kind of hard when I say, Shakes, you know, you can't do this now. You can't jump over the backboard. You're like, huh? Yesterday we could jump over the backboard. And we're like, this is what looks better. This is what helps the sport. This is what's safer. This is what people will understand, right?
Yeah. But I would say this, one problem I had was the not being able to go back to the island, even if after you try to attack.
Right.
It was like you get one chance to go to the island. And once you enter the island, then you got to exit the slam zone. I was like, how are they going to track that?
Right.
So if I'm a player, I'm like, I'm definitely going back to the island just to see if you can catch me. I'm gonna see it once or twice, see if they're really looking at that, because there's so much to look at during the game. How are you gonna know if I went to the island one time and then you wait again and then you see if I went back again?
And that was a hard thing too, because coaches are yelling out things as well. Because I think a few times, so for example, once you go up for a dunk and you don't make it, obviously, and you come back down, you can't go back up. It's supposed to be dead or a play, you know, it wasn't blocked, or, you know, you miss it. Obviously, there's a lot of little things that just happen so fast. And it's like, you know, and a few times we had to go back, right? Because it's a professional sport. You got to go back and get it right? Because there's points. How many points? There's all these different things. So I think as you know, we'll get better. The rules we'll tweak the rules, and we'll go back to some of the rules.
Right. And we made that adjustment even to that, because even with the game, the way the game plays, like just the flow of the game, not being able to go back to the island, even after you went to a scoring attempt, maybe it didn't work down, you work and you need to, you know, bounce down, get to the island, or you made a pass and then you get to the island and get out the way, to making them have to go exit out and then hit the glass.
Yeah, the glass.
And then get the ball with your back to the action, turn around, and then find your guy without being hit and manage the ball. How is the game gonna flow like that every time someone has the ball? They got to do that.
Right.
That's gonna be boring as hell. Watching people throw it off the glass. They're gonna be like, this is glass ball. You know, like we just seeing guys throw it off the glass and turn around and there's no play.
Right.
You know,
and you can't touch them, and that's a different thing, because, like you say, at the end of the day, it is slam ball. So if you throw it off the glass, you can't hit him, right? And that was a tough thing too. Because the guy dribbles and turns his back. You're like, oh, he already turned his back. Now people are not understanding when you can hit and when you can't hit.
Right.
So that's like you said, that's another thing that will probably be taken out. You come out, go back in, because that was one of the things that was.
I do understand why we need to throw it off the glass when it's your turn to come out, because if I can still maneuver in there and I'm smart enough to know, that's a skill, how to stay in the slam zone. That's a skill in itself, how to keep yourself in the slam zone. Like me and Inches at the very beginning, we used to play a game of just without the ball, see how many bounces we can take without being off bounce. We used to just work like that, so we know how to stay in the slam zone. Then we end up using it with a ball, see how we can stay in the slam zone and then come out making passes to each other, still get back to the island without coming out, because that's a skill.
Right.
Now, once you come out, you do have to reset your dribble, right? So throwing it off the glass. Cool. I'm good with that. But the fact that you can't come back in after that and then go to the island, that's crazy. you know, in my opinion.
Right.
The other rule we had was the bounce down rule.
Right.
So what happened with that? What changes did you go through with the bounce down rule? And for people that don't know what a bounce down is when you transfer from one spring bed to the other spring bed, you have to bounce the ball, recollect it in the air before you touch the other spring bed in order to legally transfer. So that's what a bounce down is.
So that was difficult a lot of times because with the ball, a lot of guys they were throwing the ball down not fast enough, or for example, throwing the ball above your head. Guys weren't getting the ball up. And sometimes it's just hard to see because there's so much going on. So it's kind of tough. It's okay, he threw it up high this time, and the other time he's 50-50. And some guys are shorter, some guys are higher. So that made it difficult with that rule as well. I mean, obviously some guys were better at it than others. So that made it hard as well too. So I think that we have to really look how that works. Because I can't say, well, you can throw it over your head as well as throwing it down. Like you taught Tony was really good at it. And a couple times it was like, no. You literally would always go out there, even between like a timeout or something like Shakes. And I'd have to say, go show them because they didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So when it always changed, it just made it harder for the other officials as well.
So yeah, with the bounce down, I know one change that happened was initially we came into the training camp with this was from Mason. Now I want people to know this because I don't want people to think that I was out there because I work and I work doing the training program, right? I basically wrote that whole training program before we went out there.
Right.
Now, I don't want people to think just because I do freestyle or I do the bounce down and I do the throw up to myself that I'm trying to make everybody do this, or I'm trying to make it like a rule that you have to do this.
Right.
That wasn't me making that call.
Right.
That was Mason.
Yeah.
Mason wanted to bounce down to the island.
Right.
So I said, really? You want to bounce down to the island? Yeah, he was like, yeah, and if you exit the slam zone, you got to bounce down the exit too. I said, what? You got to do that?
Difficult.
And then he was like, now if you go up for a dunk and you don't make it, or before you come down with the ball, you got to bounce down the exit.
Right.
I said, what? Or you got to bounce down to get to the island. I said, what?
Right.
I'm like, whoa. Now, I don't know how many people could do that,
Right.
you know, but I get where Mason was going with this.
Right.
He wanted to force the skill level of the game, right? So he made that call. We put it in the thing. We came out there. This is like the day 3 of training camps. Everybody's complaining about the bounce down. And I'm like, man, we ain't even gave it a try. This day 3.
Right.
You know, so eventually we had the rule change. And then it kept evolving from there. So what did you go through with that portion of it? Like how did you see that happening?
I just felt like, I mean, I liked the rule originally, but when you realized that it changed because everybody couldn't do it,
mm-hmm.
we had to change. We had to evolve to make sure like a lot of guys could do some of the basic things.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, you came out, you're like, wow, it's like we're changing the rule like the guys can't do. And like I said, a lot of people just don't. A lot of people just don't practice. Like you said, 3 days, and you're not even giving it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it really was to me, it was hard anyway. Like the skill level, but guys will be able to, the next time guys will probably be able to do it. It made it hard for us because I'm like, wow, this is a lot for your mind to just to process and to see. And like you said, there's always different scenarios. In basketball, same thing. Something's going to happen. You're like, wow, it's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ball getting stuck,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or a couple of times we're like, okay, we have a banner and the ball hits the banner. Oh, shoot, that's out of bounds. Never happened but one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're like, be prepared for it. So
right.
I just think that maybe that rule will come back in effect, but I just felt like a lot of people just couldn't get it. Maybe they didn't work as hard at it or work as long. Just like you. I mean, everybody can't do the McNasty, right? It's tough, right? But you could still do it. So this thing was just like, wow, we had to change, I think, just because more people couldn't. Because people were still doing it, but just a lot couldn't do it. And I think it's great. Like whenever you practice, anything new is always great, right? You just have to work at it. So for us to change it, it did make it harder for the officials, but then when we changed it, it made it easier for us.
Nice.
But that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll end with this one. I want to know, like, maybe there's some people out there, and as the sport grows, there are other refs that come from different sports background, but what would you tell these guys if they were looking to come to SlamBall? What would you tell them to get better at, or look for, or look forward to, or to work on? What type of advice could you give them if they wanted to become SlamBall reps?
I would just want them to understand that it's not basketball, because there is a basketball and there is 2 goals that are 10 feet, but it isn't the same. You have way more violations there. There's more fouls, technical fouls, intentional fouls, flagrant fouls, traveling, carry, backcourt violation. The rules are totally different. So I would tell guys, really study the sport, really watch film, like watch the games, and then just understand that the rules are just different. It's just totally different. Besides that basketball and 1 or 2 things, everything is different. So I would say really watch. You study, right? You want to become a lawyer, you want to become this. You really study. Do your history on it. Don't just come out there and think because I did basketball, I can be great at this. I played, so that was my advantage, right? Mm-hmm. Sure, I'm an official, but by me playing and understanding, it was still a big change for me. So really study those mechanics. The mechanics are different, and get your mindset that it isn't basketball. Mm-hmm. It is SlamBall. Mm-hmm. It's not the same thing. So that's what I would say.
Right. Dope, man. Well, that's a whole lot, man. We just packed a whole lot of information into 1 hour. We are on the dot. Inches, thank you for sitting in with us. I also got a video with him coming out where we're doing an era comparison. So we're matching up guys from the old era of SlamBall with the new era of SlamBall. So everybody watch out for that, because it got some dope Inches highlights in there, and more players to come. So Inches, last remarks.
Last remarks, man. Put God first, and watch out for next series of SlamBall. Hey, man, I hope I might be in that joint.
You want to play?
I want to say I love you, Speedy, man. It's great to see you. Like, man. Hey, SlamBall's back, baby. We're making it live. We're putting it to you out there. Shouts out to Mason Gordon, Mike Tollins.
Hold on. You want to play? You still want to play?
Yes, I still want to play, man. I'm trying to do a Jordan, come out of retirement.
Hey, man. Well, how old was George Foreman when he got that title? Was he? You think he was 45? Mm-hmm. Was he 45 or 46? Hey, man. I want to see it.
Me too, man.
Speedy, man, thank you for coming out with us, man, and doing this. So this is dope, and it's a lot of information. People can get some some backstory on reffing and how that unfolded during Series 6. Series 7, 2024 SlamBall is still on the way.
Right, baby.
We are all excited. Everybody that supported, and I was on the team from the front office to all the players and everyone surrounding SlamBall. Even the guys that talk about SlamBall on the side, man. Thank everybody. And we signing out. Let's go. Shake the game up. Oh, last thing I do want to do before we sign off is I want to say, Speedy, what's this right here?
It's definitely a foul that wasn't called.
Yes.
See, that's a foul that wasn't called.
And you know what happened? I was supposed to leave it on the floor, and I took it with me. I still was mad at that play, man.
That was definitely a foul.
I know who was more mad about that play was Bradley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
But yeah, man.
We talked about it too. We looked at it. We saw it. We're like,
He's
because Rob's here, Mitchell's here, and I'm on this side. I'm like, oh shoot. And that's, like I said, that's one of those things. Like, you have to be patient and get the call. You gotta get the call. You gotta get those.
Yeah, but
some stuff you gotta get above the
so
above the shoulders, head. You gotta get those.
In every sport, they're gonna have some calls that's made. So it's all part of the game, man. It's all love. But yes, sir. We out. We signing out.
Peace out, brother.